Hello, I'm Brooke O'Leary with ECTV, here with Padraig O'Malley. How are you?
I'm fine. It's nice to be here, Brooke. Thank you for interviewing me.
Very nice to have you here. Thank you. So I was wondering, what inspired you to become so heavily involved with peacemaking and reconciliation, and to do so on such an impacting, globally recognized level?
I became involved when the conflict in Northern Ireland broke out in 1967. I'm from the Republic of Ireland, and because of a particular massacre in Derry, Londonderry in 1972, when 13 civilians were shot dead by British soldiers. Even though I was in Boston, I became involved. I organised a concert for the families of the victims. Went to Derry, Londonderry to deliver the checks to each family.
That's
and
amazing.
to keep the checks out of the arms of the hand of the IRA, and that was actually my first time in Northern Ireland.
Wow.
And when I looked around and saw the conditions in which Catholics at that point lived, I was drawn in. And I did that 2 years later when there was a bomb went off in Dublin, and a number of people in Dublin were killed. But I thought it was rather stupid to kind of be doing benefits for the families of victims, and that something more should be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I set out very idealistically to try and bring all the parties involved in the conflict together, which had not been done before.
Mm-hmm.
At the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. And by a miracle, I got them all there, 30 people.
Wow.
I won't go through the whole history of that, okay? But I won't even say that it was a successful conference,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the first time all these people were together, and if they did not fight each other, at least they sang with each other, and they drank enough Guinness that we had difficulty getting them up in the morning. So that by the end of the week, everybody was so, like, they would drink till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
We'd have them up at 7 o'clock. Program begins at 8 o'clock. So by the end of the week, everybody's nerves were on such an edge
Mm-hmm.
that everybody was looking for a Valium. And I remember that one member of the IRA asking a member of a Protestant paramilitary group, did he have anything that would relieve a headache? And the guy took out a Valium and gave him half a Valium.
Wow.
They became friends. That's all it took, okay? So the lesson of that is that when you put people in a situation, because most situations of conflict are one in which each side others
Mm-hmm.
the other side, and people on the other side. They're not quite seen as human beings. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they're so easy the violence it comes so easy. But when you put them in a situation of where they can begin to relate to each other as human beings,
Yes.
their attitudes towards each other change.
Why do you see this as such an important issue to speak to college students about and to get the message out about?
Well, you are the future. And right now the world is a very messy place, with phobias of all kinds kindling conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in a post-Cold War order, and the kind of diminution of the U.S. as the world's sole superpower. The world has become very fractured, and the nature of conflict itself has changed. Usually conflict was between two nation states, where armies confronted each other and airplanes bombed each other and things like that. Now it's terror and counter-terrorism. And I don't like to use the word terror, I must tell you, and counter-terrorism, because they're suggestive that the people who often engage in these activities do not have legitimate rights to engage in those activities. For example, while the IRA and the well, until it called a ceasefire, they were called terrorists.
Yeah.
And now members of the IRA occupy the highest positions in government in Northern Ireland. So,
Yeah.
you know, it switches.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you know, there's a kind of jadedness about more, I would say, senior leaders in the world, because they don't quite understand the revolutions in technology and media and social media, and how social media is used to either recruit, to propagate, to organize, to demonstrate. They've never quite got their hands around how this mobilizes young people. And young people in the world, there are, you know, 289 youth who are unemployed across the globe, who are living in slums. And I'm involved in another project I'm setting up to deal with that. But I think every student should, after he or she graduates, should make a point of going to a poor country and working with the people there, not only to help them, but to learn their culture and immerse themselves in their traditions and learn their value systems. Because we in the West tend to think that we have the absolutely correct value systems, and we want to impose our correct value systems on others, and mostly because we don't understand the value systems of others.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's amazing to see all the effort you've put forward towards peace and reconciliation, and I hope that we can continue it on in the future.